There's nothing more powerful than the odor of mendacity.
Text message.
I don't recall any conversation with Detective Thorpe.
I'm saying you can slow it down, but I'm gonna keep asking you these questions. So, do you recall texting or telling Detective Thorpe that so another guy called you and said that those people were just lying?
I don't recall.
Sir, Mr. Copeland, is it your desire to release your counsel at this point in time?
She's fired.
She's fired? Okay. So do you wish to represent yourself in these particular, in terms of any issues you may have in this particular?
Do I got a choice?
I'm sorry?
Do I got a choice?
Yes, you do.
And what are those?
You can keep your lawyer that you have right now.
I don't want her.
All right. You could certainly hire another lawyer, or the court could appoint you a lawyer.
What I need a lawyer for? What
No, it's just the court is just asking you whether it's your choice, sir.
I'm good.
You're good.
And good afternoon. Welcome back Inside the Law. I'm your host, Philip Holloway. Hope everyone's having an awesome Friday afternoon. I thought that I would just go ahead and do sort of an impromptu live stream here. We're going to check in on the whatever's going on in the Young Thug trial. It was supposed to start back around 12:30. It's now 1:22 p.m. Eastern time. And I've been watching this for a few minutes, and it doesn't seem to be that they're getting underway. This is a half day. It looks like there are some people in the courtroom, but I thought we could just all watch it together because you never know what you're going to see in the Young Thug trial. In case you haven't ever seen, there's a person who goes by Thugger Daily on Twitter, and this is some of the most interesting sort of play-by-play that you're going to find. And I wanted to share with you something that I thought was pretty interesting. This is Little Woody, who's currently testifying. Let's see what Little Woody's got to say.
Because they're questioning me, and I'm trying to get them off of me, and she asked me questions about Nut and Thug, I guess, and I'm telling her whatever she asked me. Let's say she asked me a question about the sky. I'm gonna say, yeah, I seen the sky. It's blue. Whatever she asked me, I'm gonna agree to that. I'm gonna say whatever she asked me. If she asked me about this reporter right here, I'm gonna say, yep, she's sitting outside me with white tennis shoes on. I'm gonna say something, just because I want her to believe I'm telling the truth. That I want her to get me out of jail.
What, she has on white tennis shoes, don't she?
Don't you got on white tennis shoes? She got on Chucks.
Right, and they white, right?
What color your shoes is? She got on Chucks.
So you telling the truth?
What color your shoes is? She said they white.
Right, so you're telling the truth then?
Well, it depends. See, you pick what you want to tell them.
All right, so that's just one, and then I found this one to be also pretty funny. Let's check it out.
For them. And everything. The police kept coming to grab me. Every time they grabbed me, I had a different story for them. I know 100% facts, and I'm telling you now, I was not truthful. I was saying whatever they wanted me to say. I was saying whatever I could come up with. I was trying my best to convince them that I didn't do nothing, that I'm an innocent person, and that people put their hands on me. When they ask me about any of these things, you sitting here keep asking me step by step by step by step. And I'm telling you now, because you asked me, was I being truthful? Okay. I know I wasn't being truthful.
So is your testimony today that you lied in every interview that you did in 2015?
See, you the way you asking that, I don't recall what I was saying in the interviews, but I'm telling you now, when they was questioning me 2015, 14, whenever they was questioning me, I was lying. I was making up stories. So when they were asking me about this right here, I was making it up. When they were asking me about this right here, I was making it up. And when they was getting me and they were letting me go, I'm just telling you.
Do you recall telling every detective?
Every time they got me, I have told the police, I tell y'all whatever y'all want to hear, just let me go.
Do you recall telling every detective in every interview, you got to believe me, I'm telling y'all the truth? Okay.
That sound like me.
Do you recall telling every detective in
the star witness, ladies and gentlemen, excuse me. You know, while we're waiting on, I'll go ahead and add this back so that we won't miss anything just in case. This is their star witness, guys. I mean, this is apparently the person that was supposed to make or break the case. You know, tell me, those of you in the chat, what do you think? Do you think he's making the case? Is he breaking the case? He's also the witness who was present in Judge Glanville's chambers for the now infamous unlawful ex parte hearing that that took place a few days ago that led to the contempt citation against attorney Brian Steele, and that has now evolved into a saga, because I think later on this month, I believe it's the 25th, Judge Glanville ordered what's called a show cause hearing. It was directed to everybody who was present in his office, including that witness. And I think there's a couple of prosecutors, that witness had a lawyer. I think there was a sheriff's deputy in there. And of course, there was a court reporter. So, I mean, all of those people are told to come back and show cause as to why they should not be held in contempt for leaking. In other words, you come and prove to me, I'm Judge Glanville, you will come and prove to me that you did not leak the discussions or the content of the discussions of this illegal ex parte conversation that we had. Now, after the Supreme Court came in and slapped down Judge Glanville's order of contempt, basically staying that proceeding indefinitely while the appeal can run its course, after they stepped in, I'm sure that individuals, and look, everybody believes it was this witness's lawyer is the one that went and talked to Brian Steele and some of the other defense lawyers. And if that's true, you know that lawyer is going to be showing up with her own lawyer. At this point, everybody involved in this case has a lawyer. Maybe one day soon, Judge Glanville will have his own lawyer there. Who knows? But in any event, I would imagine there's going to be a concerted effort to stop that show cause hearing from taking place. Lady Trucker, good afternoon from Colorado. Normally not into politics, not into the judicial system, but she points, so this is the craziest, outrageous corruption of a judicial system I've ever heard. Well, you know what? It might be the same for me. This trial is one that it's certainly for the history books. Look, in my opinion, it's no longer a viable trial. And by that, I mean, even in the event of a conviction, there's no way that it's going to survive. It's going to be it's going to be overturned on appeal. There's no question about that. And, you know, I don't know if we're even going to get to a verdict at this point, because you know that these lawyers are coming for Judge Glanville. I mean, they smell blood in the water. They know that he made a mistake in trying to throw Brian Steele in jail. They know that he was wrong for doing his ex parte. We know that the State Judicial Qualifications Commission, that's the state agency in Georgia that polices judicial behavior, we know that they're on the case. And, you know, we know that there's been a motion to recuse. Yesterday, I did a stream on that where we went through the motion to recuse the judge, seeking to have him removed from the case because of his alleged misconduct related to that ex parte conversation. And so there's blood in the water, and these lawyers are not going to give up. That's why I thought today, when I realized that this was going to be just a half day, an afternoon day, I'm thinking, you know what? It's Friday. Let's just see if we can go inside the law together and watch in real time what's happening and maybe talk about it while it's going on. So, of course, I decided, well, 12:30 means probably 1 o'clock. So I set up the live stream for around 1 o'clock. And here we are. It's now 1:30 and nothing. You know how much these jurors make? These jurors get paid $25 a day. Think about how much time of their time is being wasted. If I'm the trial judge, particularly one that it has to be elected by the citizens of Fulton County, like Judge Glanville does, and the jurors being citizens of Fulton County, I'm going to treat them real nice. I'm going to be courteous, and I'm going to be respectful of their time. I'm not going to have them come in at 12:30 and have them waiting around till 1:30 to start doing anything. I'm not going to take 5-minute breaks that turn into 2 or 3 hours, but hey, that's just me. I'm not the judge. He is. Maybe there's a good reason for the late start. Who knows? But in fact, I'm going to check in over here on, let me check into Thugger Daily over here on Twitter and see if he has, and it may be a she. I don't know who Thugger Daily actually is because that's an anonymous account. So let's see if Thugger Daily. Whoop. Wrong one. All right, let's see if he's got any updates on it. No, the most recent, no, it doesn't look like there's no update as to what the delay is. Let me send a message and see if I can get an answer while we're waiting. What is the delay? All right, let's see if I can get an answer on what the holdup is. But in any event, I mean, I was joking. Somebody's probably in an ex parte. That's why we're had a half a day. See, they needed the morning time for the illegal ex partes. So this has to be something else. It must have been a half day so that they could use the morning to do all the other shenanigans. But of course, I'm joking. Got almost 1,000 people in here. Welcome to Inside the Law. In case you're new, this is where we go inside the real justice system to bring you the real justice system, not the one that you think we have from watching TV or the news. It's the real thing, the good, the bad, and the ugly. And sometimes we have the luxury of watching trials together, which is what we're trying to do now. But we're waiting. But hey, at least we're waiting together. Lady Trucker, thank you for that super chat. Thank you very much. And we've got Philly says, knowing it's televised, still blatant corruption. Imagine what they've gotten. We don't have to imagine. We don't have to imagine. Thank you for the super chat. We don't have to imagine because we're seeing it. We're watching it every day. But here's the thing: they've not necessarily gotten away with anything because look, the Georgia Supreme Court's now going to be involved in the contempt.
Court would now come to order.
Here we go.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Please be seated.
Let's watch and see what happens.
All of our jurors present? Okay, all right. Is Mr. Copeland back with us? Yes. Okay. Anything to take up before Mr. Copeland comes out? All right. Oh, yeah. What's my name? All right. We're back on the record in the matter of the state of Georgia versus Khalif Adams et al. In 22 SC 183572. Mr. Stillwell, Mr. Botts, and Mr. Shard, good afternoon. All right, Mr. Williams, Mr. Steele, Mr. Adams, and Mr. Pines, good afternoon. All right, Mr. Kendrick and Mr. Weinstein, good afternoon. Yes. All right, Mr. Huey and Mr. Matthew Sr., good afternoon. All right, and Mr. Nichols and Mr. Garner, good afternoon. And Mr. Ryan and Misty Williams, good afternoon. Okay, Ms. Haltwinger, sorry, I apologize. Good afternoon, madam. All right, and then from representatives from the state, Ms. Atkins, Ms. Love, and Ms. Hilton. All right, okay. Mr. Kokomo, good afternoon, sir. All right, Mr. Yusuf, good afternoon, sir. All right, I think I got all the important people, really important people. All right, okay. Where's Ms. Knight?
It's her special days.
Okay, all right. Okay. All right, let's summon our jurors then, okay? All right. Bring Mr. Copeland back in, please.
Wendy, maybe he did. Who knows? I've seen worse in court.
Thank you.
Why do they stand up for the witness? I wonder what color shoes the court reporter's wearing today.
All rise for the jury.
Oh, it is the jury. I thought they were already in there. Yeah, I posted that on Twitter too. It's fantastic. Check it out.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. All right, thank you, Officer Hudson. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, the jury, good afternoon. All right,
2
sorry you had
days
to
in a row
compete
with
with the vice
Chubbs.
president in traffic today. So all of you that may have had to come down here today. So without further delay, we're going to go
It's
ahead.
Kamala
and
Harris's
continue
fault.
with,
She's in town. That's what he's
examination of our
blaming it on.
witness. Mr. Copeland, you're still under oath, okay?
Good afternoon.
Good luck, Wendy.
So yesterday we left off talking about your interview that you did on February 20th, 2015. Going back to the incident in which you, your girlfriend at the time, and your child was being shot at, do you remember seeing any of the individuals who shot at you?
I never saw no one that shot at me at that time.
Do you recall in that interview a period of time where the detective left the room and you were speaking with your girlfriend and you told her that you knew who shot at you?
I never saw nobody. I never saw who shot at me. If I saw who shot at me, I would never told the police who shot at me.
Do you recall in this same February 20th, 2021 interview that when the detective left the room, you said to your girlfriend this shit not gonna work. Sit right here and be a damn snitch. So I'm going to keep going. Do you recall telling your girlfriend that?
I don't recall.
Okay. And then she responded, so, you're right, it'll be effect on the listener.
Overrule the objection, sir. Overrule, sir.
So what you're saying, why you acting like you did? And she said, you should have just said, no, I thought you know all of them. And you said to her, I do know who it was. Do you recall telling her that?
I know that I knew the camera. I knew that I was being recorded, so I kind of knew what I was doing.
Okay. And then you said, I saw him. I did when he jumped out the car. I know exactly who I saw.
Nobody never got out of the car, so this clearly proved that I knew what I was doing.
Do you recall telling your girlfriend that?
I don't recall what I told her.
Okay. And this was when the detectives had left the room.
I don't recall if they left the room or if they stayed in.
They still have their little COVID mask
Do
on
you
the
recall further
microphone.
in the interview when the detectives asked you whether or not any of the people who did this had ever been to your home, you instructed your girlfriend to tell the detectives who had recently been at the house?
I don't recall what I told him.
Do you recall the detective asking anybody you let come over to the house recently that normally ain't been by there? And then you told Deshaun, tell him who been there. Do you recall that?
If I brought anybody to my house, I'm 100% sure they know not to play with me.
Sure. Do you also remember when you and your girlfriend were in the room by yourself, you told your girlfriend it was Tay and them who did this to you?
I don't recall.
Was it Tay that shot at your vehicle?
I don't believe so.
Do you recall in that same interview being concerned about being labeled a snitch?
I don't care about what I'm being labeled as.
Let me ask you this. During this time when your home was when you were being shot at with your daughter and your then girlfriend, how many other family members' homes have been shot at that year?
I'll sustain as to speculation. I will overrule as to hearsay from Mr. Steele.
To your knowledge, how many of your family members' homes have been shot up back in 2015 after Nut died?
Overrule, sir.
I can't recall.
Do you know? Okay, let me ask you this. Was your brother's home shot at?
No.
Okay. Was your girlfriend's mother's home shot at?
Yes.
Okay. Was your sister's home shot at?
Yes.
Was your grandmother's home shot at?
No.
Did you think you were being retaliated against?
Huh?
When all the shootings were happening at your family members' homes, did you think you were being retaliated against?
I didn't think.
Did you know?
Clearly.
Okay. Why were you being retaliated against?
Because people said I killed Nut.
And do you know who was doing the retaliation?
No.
Do you recall telling detective in the same February 20th interview that it was a whole gang after you?
Anytime the investigators talk to me, I do not recall what I have told them.
So you don't recall telling them there was a whole gang after you?
I was told them whatever I think that I need to tell them to convince them to stop watching me.
Was there a whole gang after you?
I don't know.
Was the entire If gang after you?
I seen a few of them, so I can't say that.
Which were the ones that you saw?
I don't know.
Earlier, I asked you about whether you were concerned about being labeled a snitch. Do you recall telling Detective Copeland,
Detective who?
excuse me, Detective Copeland, Detective Curry,
Now I'm a detective.
I made a mistake. Talking about
Correct.
Detective Mr. Copeland. I'm about to ask you a question. Do you recall telling the detective, I know if I tell you what's going on, they're going to be on records and all this here, and you're going to get him locked up, and he's going to get his discovery package. First thing they're going to do is send it to two places, to the street and to prison, and float it all around the city of Atlanta, and then all around prison. But my name's over that. I'm not going that way. No, I'm not going through none of that. Look, they shot at me, my girl, and my baby. Almost shot my face off as we're running. I'm not for sure, but I thought I heard one of the bullets hit the car seat or graze the car seat. Were you concerned about snitching in this interview?
I was concerned trying to get my story together, so I was trying to buy time.
Did you also tell in that same interview, I just know the trouble I'm putting myself in. Just know I don't want to have nothing. I don't want to have nothing, man. I can't go to no job. I can't do none of this shit. I know the street not going to be here forever. All things going on right now, just waiting on you niggas to catch up and kill me. Again, not wanting to snitch on who did this to you, your child, and your baby.
My only motive was anytime the police questioned me was try to figure out how could I get myself out of it. Anytime they asked me any questions, I was trying to, if I couldn't come up with no answer right then and there, I was trying to buy time to think of something to say.
When you met with Mr. Curry, weren't you going there as a victim of an aggravated assault? When you went to go meet with the detective that's in that picture,
Okay.
weren't you going to talk with him about being a victim of a crime?
No, I was shooting back. So I thought they were going to try to lock me up for shooting back.
But during the course of that interview, were you made aware that they weren't planning on arresting you because you were protecting yourself?
When they said they would take me downtown, I put my hand behind my back and told him, "You gonna lock me up? Come on, get it out the way now."
And did they ever lock you up?
Cause he wanted the gun. So he gave me 24 hours to get him the gun. When he let me go, I didn't come back with the gun. So they sent the SWAT team to my house to get me.
But when you went the first day, did they ever put handcuffs on you?
Cause they wanted the gun.
Did they ever put handcuffs on you?
You hadn't answered the question.
Did they ever put handcuffs on you?
One of the officers pulled him out and he told him we don't need that.
Okay, so they never put handcuffs on you?
Overruled, sir.
Did they ever put handcuffs on you?
I don't think so.
Okay. And when you left the interview, did you leave that interview without any handcuffs on you?
Yeah, I left. I went back to the streets.
So again, when you went in this interview, you were not in trouble.
I was.
Basis. Overruled, sir.
Were you arrested at all on February 20th when you went to go speak to the police about being shot at? Were you ever arrested that day when you went down to tell the police about what happened to you, your child, and your girlfriend?
They locked me up the next day.
I asked you, were you arrested that day?
No, they locked me up the next day.
Were you arrested that day?
Overruled, sir.
Were you arrested that day?
No.
Did you want the police to go and find the people who actually killed Nut so that people would stop retaliating against you?
Yeah.
Do you recall being asked by the detective? You knew one of them. I know you knew one of them. Your face tells the story. Now, out of all the ones, I mean, you might know the other ones, but I know you know one of them because the face tells the story. Because the face tells the story of somebody being close that you trusted. And your response was, it ain't that. The truth is, I wouldn't say that person because I'm not 100% sure, but I know only one person.
What's the base of your objection, sir?
Foundation, predicate.
Okay. All right. Foundation and predicate. I'll sustain the objection. Go ahead and rephrase, madam.
Did you know at least one of the individuals that were shooting at you back in February of 2015?
On my daughter's life, when that car pulled up on me, all I saw was a gun come out the window. They said, I never seen no one face. They was questioning me. They constantly kept telling me, you gonna let dudes shoot at you and your kids and this and that. And I'm telling them, and they won't believe me that I'm telling them, I didn't see nobody's face. I didn't see nobody's face. And then after a while, I got tired of them asking me, so I don't recall if I just went ahead and said, yeah, I seen Tay. I don't know how it came out, but in my heart, and still to this day in my heart, I do not believe Tay had anything to do with me getting shot at.
Okay. Do you recall telling your girlfriend when it was just the two of you, I did when he jumped out the car? I know exactly who I saw.
I don't, at that point, it was so much pressure on me. Yeah, I'm a daughter crying, trying to take her to the hospital. Somebody pull up on me soon. I'm trying to figure out what made me have the gun to go to the hospital. It's all type of stuff going through my mind. I don't know. Too much going on. Yeah, I can't because she keep asking me these questions and.
Mr. Copeland, just take a breath, okay? We do need to take down your testimony, so you do need to speak a little slower, all right? Okay?
All right.
Fannie Willis is the architect of this giant indictment, and this is her lead prosecutor handling it. To answer Susan's question.
Can we continue?
I don't got anything else to say.
About which part? Regarding the gun that you used to shoot back at these individuals, who were you going to give? Which police officer were you going to give the gun to?
Huh?
Which police officer were you going to give the gun to?
Neither.
Okay. Who did you tell them you were going to give the gun to?
Whichever one they were asking for it.
Do you recall them telling you needed to give the gun to Gaither?
I don't recall. I know they said they want that gun. It's part of the investigation. I knew it was a trick. I told him if he let me go, I go get it and bring it back. He went for it.
And why didn't you get the gun?
Huh?
Why didn't you go and give them the gun?
They helped him lock me up.
At any point in time, did you ever get arrested for shooting back at those individuals?
Thank God.
Do you recall them asking you some more questions about Tay, and you providing them information about where Tay was from, what part of Atlanta he was from?
I don't recall.
Okay. Do you recall the detective asking you, we only know there's a guy by the name of Tay. Where's Tay from? What area he live in? And you told him that he was from Simpson Road area. You recall telling the detective that?
I guess I don't remember what I said to him.
Do you recall?
Because at that point he had put too much pressure on me, and you know what I mean. I'm just thinking because he told me. I remember him saying he want that gun. That's all I remember him kept saying. He want that gun.
And when you say putting pressure, what do you mean?
Same thing you doing to me now. You keep putting pressure on me.
Was he yelling at you at all during this interview?
I think he kept saying, I'm letting people shoot at me while I got my child, and my loyalty to the streets, my loyalty to my child.
So was he just trying to get you to tell him who did this to you, your child and your baby?
I stand the questions to form.
Did he ever threaten you to give a name?
Nah, but he kept asking me to make me say a name, and you like how you keep asking me a question. I'm gonna say something to answer you, so you can stop asking me the same question.
They need to give up.
Were you concerned about how you were going to survive the attacks on you and your family?
Yes.
And again, were you concerned that because you had already spoken to the police about Nuts' homicide, that people were considering you a snitch, that people thought you were a snitch?
I don't get what you're saying. Can you say that again?
Were you concerned that people already thought that you were a snitch when you did this interview
What interview?
with the detective after you were shot at? After you were shot at with your girlfriend and your daughter?
No, my only concern was no.
Do you recall telling the detective in this same February 20th interview, I left down, I came and talked down here. Everybody look at me like I'm a snitch now. It's just like I can't get no money. You know, I was just getting money just by doing nothing. It's just like, hey man, I need to borrow this right here, just hanging around, going to the mall. He paid for everything, but all of them, now they all come out here, they think I'm a snitch.
I always got my own money. When I need money, I knew how to go get it.
From Fanny's
Would Thug
mattress.
give you money at times?
I'm not a handout type of person.
Would Thug give you money at times?
I never asked Thug for no money.
Would Thug give you money at times?
I can't recall if he gave me money, but I never asked him for no money.
When you said he paid for everything, who were you referencing?
The big money, the ballers.
The ballers.
Were you concerned that young Thug had washed his hands of you?
Huh?
Were you concerned because you had been speaking to police that Thug had washed his hands of you?
No, I didn't need Thug.
All right. Do you recall telling the detective in the same interview on February 20th, 2015, he asked you, so basically Young Thug washed his hands of you? And your response, yeah, because I came and talked to the detectives and them folks in the street saying I'm a snitch, I'm a snitch, I'm a snitch. Nobody don't want to hang around me. I called my partners. They don't want to hang around me. It's like, what the hell all this come from? What the hell is going on? Do you recall telling the police that?
The police so concerned about Thug, I was removing myself from him.
Do you recall at all talking to this detective about what happened that Monday night at Club Crucial with you and Kel, the fight between you and Kel?
I don't recall nothing specific that me and him talk about outside of the shooting with my child. And I barely remember some of this stuff. You talking about some years ago when I don't even know what I did 3-4 days ago. Like,
Do you recall telling your girlfriend, again, when the two of you were alone in the room, no matter which way it go, I'm going to lose anyway if I tell them that Tay did it? You recall having that conversation with your girlfriend?
you say it again?
Sure. Do you recall being alone in that same interview room with your girlfriend and you told her, no matter which way it go, I'm going to lose anyway if I tell them that Tay did it?
On my child life, once again, on Izari life, I never seen no one face that was in that car shoot at me. At any time, if they got out the car, to this point, I never knew who shot at me. So when that detective was asking me, I just had to come up with something. I got no reason to lie about it. I didn't see nobody who shot at me. So y'all going back into interrogation when I'm telling you the truth. I don't know who shot at me. I have told them I didn't know. When they're gonna keep asking me, make me know, okay, cool. I'm gonna say, I'm done.
Do you recall being hesitant in the February 21st interview? And we're going to get to that interview with Detective Gaither when she showed you a photographic lineup and you actually eventually pointed Tay out of a photographic lineup.
Because I know Gaten. I mean, I know Gaten. I know that, I mean, she one of them people that she got it out for me. So I didn't care. I was just trying to get it off. I gave them out for me and trying to convince her. And trying to convince her is very hard to do. So I had to go through with it. Even though in my heart, I knew that he didn't shoot at me, or he would have never shot at me. And to be more clear on it, before I went back to jail the last time, I was right around him. So I would never be with nobody that I believe shot at me while I had my child.
Why did you say Tay did it versus anyone else?
First thing came to my mind.
Why was Tay the first person that came to your mind versus anyone else?
Because in the midst of trying to convince the police so they could leave me alone, I just got shot at. Only thing was in my mind was, get that.
Okay, but you had to beef with Kel. Why not say it was Kel?
Because I had to convince them. I gotta make it seem. If I say Kel shot me, they're gonna, how you know? How Kel know where you stay at? So I gotta come up with something to make them know. Okay, well, Tay been over here. You know what I mean? So okay, Tay. I don't know. Like,
But
listen, you keep asking me. I told you I don't know who shot at me.
why would Gaither have it out for you?
That would be speculation, sir.
I sustain the objection.
Well, you said she had it out for you. What makes you think she had it out for you?
I'll let him answer that question. It's posed.
You said she had it out for you. What makes you think she had it out for you?
Because she was trying her best to get me. She was trying to catch me.
Didn't she advise you to leave town? But you're right, it's a contradiction of what?
Not a contradiction.
Hold on. That comes from the interview. Where's that come from? Where's that statement come from?
His interview with her during the course
You
of
need to reference that. I'll rule the objection.
in your February 21st interview with her, then she asked you to leave town, go somewhere else, Cobb County, Clayton County. Then she told you to lay low so that you wouldn't get killed.
No, she was saying it because she's saying that my name was my. She just said my name kept coming up a lot.
Right, so she did not want you to be harmed. So why would she have it out for you?
I sustain the objection. You can rephrase.
During the course of that interview, was she encouraging you to lay low? Do you recall her doing that?
I think she was. I thought she was faking. So I don't know.
Outside of the interviews, would you talk to Gaither? Would you call Gaither on the phone?
No, the only time I talked to Gaither is when she called, but it was never about nothing in the streets or nothing.
Right, so
It was, hey, Miss Copeland, your name involved in the shooting. We want you downtown. This only time she called me, hey, Miss Copeland, they say you shot up this person's house. We need you downtown. I don't recall me and her having no conversations about nothing.
when you were locked up, would you have your girlfriend call Detective Gaither for you so you can speak with her?
You heard where I was, right? Where was I? In jail?
So if she had it out for you, why are you trying to call Detective Gaither?
Because I'm trying to, all she got to do is give me a name. I'm going to try to convince her so she can get me out of jail.
But if she has it out for you, why would you trust Detective Gaither?
I don't trust her. I'm trying to play on her.
I want to go back very briefly to the interview that you did, the first interview you did with Detective
Supposed to go forward, not backwards. Let's keep it moving.
after your car was shot up on the car was shot at on the highway.
Okay.
During that interview, at the time when your car got shot at, did you know about Lucci's mother's home being shot at?
What you mean?
Were you aware that Lucci's mother's home was shot at?
Huh?
When you met with Detective Gaither
Right.
about what happened on the highway, during that time period, were you aware of Lucci's mother's home being shot at?
No.
Do you recall talking to Detective Gaither in that January 28th interview about Lucci's home being shot at?
I can't recall.
During that interview, do you remember telling Detective Gaither and Detective Dennis that Lucci's mama and dad got shot? So Nick called Big Boo's phone, and we was at Big Boo's house. Do you recall telling them that?
I don't recall.
Let me ask you this. Do you recall independently being with Big Boo and Lucci's manager calling his house, calling his phone, trying to give him $20,000 to find out whoever shot up Lucci mama's house?
Form the question.
I'll sustain this form. You can rephrase.
Do you recall being at Big Boo's house and someone from Lucci's manager calling Big Boo back in 2015?
I don't recall.
Sure.
I go out.
I wonder how they get all the lawyers up there for a sidebar, or do they even bother? You know, Frank, I don't know that you need to be taking lessons from me about how to do anything, but suffice it to say, this is not how I would prosecute a case, that's for sure. I would have broken it up into smaller pieces, things that the court and the jury can much better digest, rather than having this giant, I don't even know what you call it at this point, cluster, dumpster fire, whatever it is. But you got to remember, there's still 12 defendants on this indictment that were severed out. So they'll have to do all this again, presumably, all of it, because everybody that's not there still has this same indictment pending. I mean, is Judge Glanville supposed to be the judge to do the rest of it? Is Judge Glanville still going to be Judge Glanville much longer? Burning questions that we all want to know the answer to. Time will tell. You guys are making a lot of great points in the chat. I really appreciate it. And some good questions. Sometimes it just moves real fast. We have 2,200 people in here. So by the way, please hit the like button. If you haven't done it, it helps other people find Inside the Law, people who are interested in the real justice system, people who may have just a curious or an academic interest in what goes on in real courtrooms across America every day. So thank you all for being here with us on this Friday afternoon, and happy Father's Day to all the dads out there early. I hope you have a great weekend to all the dads.
All right.
My Father's Day weekend will be starting very shortly with, I think, a happy hour. Looks like this is going to be a lengthy sidebar. If you notice, the court reporter is still taking it down because they have microphones that are up there that only she can hear that go into her earbuds. He has to take down everything that's said because this is still an open court. It's just easier to do the sidebar than it is to send the jury out to have these hopefully very short discussions. So they just keep the jury in place Everybody goes to the bench. They have whatever discussion they need to have. That's still on the record. Some sidebars are not, but most are. And that will become part of the record for appeal once all this is over sometime in approximately 2035.
All right, let's bring Mr. Copeland back in, please.
Why did he leave?
All right, so you can continue when ready.
Thank you. So I'll just ask you again. Back in 2015, do you recall being with Big Boo when Lucci's manager called him?
I don't recall.
Do you recall telling Detective Dennis and Gaither in the January 28th interview, Lucci's mama and dad got shot, so Nick called Big Boo's phone. We was at Big Boo's house. And the first thing that nigga said was, hey, Boo, Lucci's mom and dad got shot. Somebody shot up his mama and dad. Somebody's house got shot up. It's $20,000. It's $20,000, man. There's $20,000 on their head, or whatever they said. And you heard that conversation.
I don't recall.
Okay. And once you heard the conversation, that you took the phone from Big Boo and you told the person on the phone, I ain't did nothing. I didn't do that, bro. You know, don't scream my name. I didn't do that. And you kept telling that person that you did not shoot up his mother's house. Do you recall doing that?
I don't recall.
And did you shoot up Lucci's mama's house? You shake your head just so.
No.
Okay.
Only the judge can declare a mistrial.
Now, back in 2015, who were the people that you would spend the most time outside of your family? Who were the people that you would spend the most time with?
Huh?
Back in 2015, outside of your family, who were your friends that you spent the most time with?
My friends.
Who?
You want me to name every single person?
Yeah.
Every friend. Go ahead.
I'm not about to name every single person.
So who are the people that you would spend the most time with?
I can't recall.
Do you recall telling Detective Gaither that you only keep a couple people around you, and it's really just Little D and Shannon? Do you recall telling them that?
Probably so. I can't recall.
Okay. And then you also said sometimes Moonsoon, but he might come around, but not every day.
I don't recall.
50-50, Frank.
And then you said, I really have my, then you also further went to say, I really wouldn't want nobody around me but Little D.
Your Honor, form of the question is my same objection.
I understand the question. You can rephrase.
Sure. Between Shannon and Little D, who's the person you would have most around you?
Huh?
Between Shannon and Little D, who would you spend more time with?
I can't. I don't know. I can't. I don't know.
Do you recall telling Detective Dennis and Gaither that I wouldn't want nobody around but Little D?
Sort of, yes, Buck. Sort of.
I probably said it because I was trying to run the play on them.
Okay.
But I don't remember what I said to them.
Back in 2015.
Anytime they question me, like I said, you keep asking me about what I supposed to told them. Anytime they question me, I just said whatever came to my mind or whatever I could have thought of in a split second. So I don't know. I don't know what I said to them.
Back in 2015, did you trust Little D?
Say that again?
Back in 2015, did you trust Little D?
No.
Do you recall telling Detective Gaither and Dennis, I really have my trust in him, speaking about Little D?
You said I really had my trust in him?
Yes.
No, man.
And that,
Go ahead.
and that Little D ain't never going to turn his back on me.
I told you, I'm trying to tell them whatever they would have went for. Because I...
Agree, Robert.
The gun that Little D from Cleveland bought from you from the pawn shop, what kind of gun was that?
How many little D's are there?
I can't recall.
Do you recall it being, as you described, a chopper?
Probably so.
Can you tell the jury what you would describe as a chopper? What type of gun is a chopper?
Shotgun. Sawed off.
I can't recall.
You don't know what type of gun a chopper is? Do you not know what type of gun a chopper is?
I don't know what I done told them.
I'm asking you separately. What kind of gun did Little D purchase for you?
A rifle,
Okay. Is a rifle a chopper?
I guess.
Okay. Have you ever had the occasion to give Nut back items that was stolen from him? Back in 2015 before he passed away.
Yeah,
Okay. First, who stole the items?
I didn't.
Do you recall telling me the other day that you did take the items?
Yeah. I said, I don't.
Did you tell me
You
that?
just asked me, did I give it back to him? I gave it back to him.
Okay. My question is, do you know who stole it?
Elected, Frank.
Huh?
Do you know who stole
I told him a friend of mine stole it.
it? Okay. Did you tell me something differently?
I probably did.
Do you remember what you told me?
What did I tell you?
Do you recall what you told me?
I just asked you.
So do you not recall what you told me?
I told you I gave it back to him.
Do you recall telling me that you actually stole those items, but you did give it back to him?
Do you have an objection? Basis.
Prosecutor, the lawyer,
Yeah.
Are you talking about the foundation for the question or form of the question or what?
is that the prosecutor testifying as personal knowledge?
That's Brian Steele's voice.
Your Honor, I'm asking.
Cross-examination.
Your Honor, I'm asking a question, but I can clarify who all was in the room.
Yeah, why don't we do that? I'll sustain the question as to the current.
Do you recall meeting with me, investigator Long, and maybe investigator Lancico, and telling us in the room that it was you who stole it, but you did give the items back to him?
I can't recall.
When you gave the items back to him, do you remember where you were? Where did you meet him at?
In my neighborhood,
Okay. And was he with anyone when you met with him to give the items back?
I think so.
Do you remember who he was with?
Oh, I can't say who the people was there with him.
Do you remember him being with Greedy, his brother?
Probably so. I don't know.
Do you remember just telling the detectives in that January interview he was with Greedy, his brother was there?
I guess I don't know. I can't recall.
Do you remember what type of car Donovan had? Oh, excuse me, Nut had.
A truck.
Do you remember what kind of truck?
It was just a truck.
Do you remember telling the detectives back in that January interview it was a green Tahoe?
Don't think he has
I don't
one.
know.
Do you remember what the items were that you gave back to him?
Yeah, his driver license, phone, and his necklace.
Describe for the jury, if you remember, what the necklace looked like.
Somebody answer this question in the chat.
What you mean?
Do you remember what the necklace looked like? Do you remember what the chain looked like?
Yeah, it was a necklace.
Was it a peanut? Do you remember?
Oh, I think so. Oh yeah, I think it was a nut. Yeah, I don't.
If you don't remember, it's okay.
Yeah, I don't know.
All right.
Oh, she's definitely leading. Most of it's objectionable, but the judge is letting her get away with everything that she wants. You're supposed to ask question and answer, and she's feeding him
We just talked about
the answer
who
when
you would
she
hang
makes the
around
question.
with from Mechanicsville. Do you recall telling Detective Gaither and Dennis back in 2015 that you're not going to see you hang with anybody besides Shannon and Dee, who was from Mechanicsville?
Shannon ain't from Canterville.
Do you remember?
I don't remember saying it.
We're all confused. We're all
And do you
confused.
remember also telling the detectives that there's not going to be one time that you and Dee are not together?
I don't recall. But it's not gonna be no time that me, D, and Shannon is not together. Not just me and D.
So the three of you will be together.
When me and D together, it's me, D, and Shannon.
Okay.
You can't appeal something that's not objected to. You've got to appeal. So none of this improper questioning would be the basis for an appeal unless there's an objection that gets overruled.
Now, we've talked about briefly another interview that you did with Detective Gaither after you were arrested for probation once your child and your child's mother was shot at. Do you remember that? All right. And do you remember meeting with Detective Gaither after you had gotten arrested?
No.
The short answer, Lonnie, is the previous guy was so bad that everybody wanted him gone and figured that she was the best chance of getting rid of the previous guy. But Fulton County jumped out of the frying pan and right into the fire, I suppose.
When you met with Detective Gaither once you were arrested, as you discussed, were you upset that they arrested you for failure to comply with community service? I know you're shaking your head. You have to say yes or no for the record. And during the course of that interview, where you asked to tell Detective Gaither about what happened with you, Deshaun, and your daughter?
I don't recall.
Do you recall in that interview also talking to her about Nuts murder?
I can't recall.
The short answer, Dwayne, is no. Only Judge
And
Glanville
during
can
this
declare a
interview,
mistrial.
do you recall telling her that on the day that Nut was killed, you initially were at home at Deshaun's house?
That's why I was, but I don't recall what I told her.
And that you got a phone call from Little D?
I don't know.
I'll sustain the objection.
We've already talked about where you were on the day that Nut passed away. Do you recall us talking about that over the course of the last few days?
I don't know.
Do you remember us talking about Nut's murder yesterday?
What you mean?
Do you remember me questioning you about where you were when Nut passed away yesterday?
You say you asked me that yesterday?
Yes,
Oh,
sir.
yes. Yes, Janice. Yes.
Yeah, I guess.
Okay. If you don't remember, that's fine. Do you remember or no?
No, you didn't ask me yesterday.
Okay. Do you remember us talking about it since you've been on the stand, though?
Talking about what?
The day that Nut passed away.
Yeah, that's what it's about, right?
Okay. Cool. You're on permission to approach?
As long as you've shown that to the defense counsel, please.
I wonder if he's got a neck problem, like something going on with the vertebra in his neck or something. Or if it's just maybe a nervous habit.
I'm showing you what's been marked as 378 Yankee D1. Do you see yourself in that picture? Is that you?
I guess.
Does it look like you?
I guess.
Yes or no? Is that you?
If you say it's me, it's me.
I'm asking you, is it you?
Yeah, I guess. Yes, it's me.
And is that the type of gateway?
He's like a man.
Do you recognize that to be Detective Gateway?
No, I can't tell if it's. I can't tell for real.
Was this? You are permission to.
Yes, Jenny, that's what she's doing. She's trying to show that he made a prior inconsistent statement, which the inconsistent statement is the one she's going to argue is the true one, not the one in court under oath.
You have permission to approach?
As long as you show that to the defense counsel.
I wish there was a wider angle on this camera and we could see everything else that's going on. I'd like to see the looks on the jurors' faces right now. They've got to be just dying. They're like, oh my God, can we just get out of here? I mean, they're just kidnapped. They're trapped there. You can't go anywhere for years.
A portion of 378 Yankee Delta on here. Does that look? Do you see yourself in this video? Yes or no?
Yeah.
Yes, John.
Looking at this group, are you able to tell who that is?
Yeah, that's her.
That's her?
Yeah.
Would it appear to be the same individual in the picture that that I have in front of you.
It looked like the same picture.
Your Honor, this time the state would like to attend the State's Bill 378 Yankee Delta 1.
Any objection to states 378 Yankee Delta 1? Hearing none, it's admitted and may be published as you see fit.
Yeah, the jury's probably ignoring everything he says.
Mr. Kerr, can you enable share?
No, not a chance. Not a chance.
And if you could bring it down, Mr. Edmund. No, down.
It's a well decorated room. Looks like the hotel I was in last time I was in West Palm Beach. Guys, that's literally a little COVID stock on the end of that microphone. All the courtrooms in Atlanta, when everybody was having to wear masks, they put these little covers on the microphones as if that was supposed to do something. I don't know.
And the time of that interview.
Yeah, right there.
What is the date and time of that interview?
February 21,
Okay, and what year is that?
2015.
Now, during this interview, do you remember anyone else being in the interview room with you? Do you recall Detective Thorpe was in there with you?
I don't know.
Okay. And during that interview, do you recall talking to Detective Gaither again about what happened between you, Deshaun, and your baby?
I don't know. I don't remember.
Okay. And during that interview, did Detective Gaither also ask you who shot at you? Do you remember Detective Gaither asking you about that?
I don't remember.
Do you remember being concerned in that interview about being labeled a snitch as well?
I don't remember.
Do you recall Detective Gaither trying to encourage you to tell them who did it so she can help you so you don't have to be getting shot at in the streets?
But if I already told them Tay did, why would she be asking me that?
Because you recall this being the first interview with Gaither. You had not met Gaither prior to this interview.
I don't remember what me and Gaither talked about.
Okay.
Or what I said to her.
Do you remember telling her, if I tell you anything, guess what happens? That make it even worse. What makes it worse? Everybody, oh, now I'm a snitch. And remember her asking how you would snitch when somebody was trying to kill you and your baby. How was that snitching?
Okay. If there was the truth, why would I wait till later or at any point and say anything to the police? It's self-explanatory.
What is self-explanatory?
The whole thing. You seen here tonight what I told to the investigator, and I'm so concerned about being labeled a snitch. So why would I tell them the truth to anything if they trying to say I'm concerned about being labeled a snitch? So if I'm gonna tell them something that label sooner or later gonna get out in the streets, why would I be concerned about being labeled a snitch? It doesn't make sense.
Do you recall being reluctant to tell the detectives who it was?
No, I was trying to buy time to come up with something to tell them so they can get up off me or let me out of jail.
Okay. The interview that you had on February 20th, What time was your interview on February 20th, 2015? What time did that
This
say?
paper?
What time did that say?
What about?
What time is it on here?
1:41
What, AM or PM?
a.m.
And then what time did you meet with Detective Gaither?
Well, look like I got on a right street outfit, so I didn't meet with her. And it say 3:53.
On February 21st?
Yeah,
Is that PM?
p.m.
So did you meet with Detective Gaither the next day after you met with the first investigator?
Yeah,
All right.
that's what they say.
So if you just wanted to make something up, didn't you have time to make up a new name if it wasn't Tay?
She was dating me. It's harder to convince her. I got to, whatever I tell her, I got to stick with it.
Wouldn't you want to tell Gaither the truth if you were trying to get out of jail? If you were trying to get out of jail, wouldn't you tell her the truth?
But if she asks me about something that I don't know and I'm trying to get out of jail, I gotta act like I know.
Did you ever try just telling the truth to get out of jail?
Have I? Probably. I don't know what I don't told her, so I can't remember what I told her, so I don't
How bad did you want to get out of jail?
want to get out of jail.
So wouldn't you want to tell the truth to get out of jail versus lying?
Objection. Oh, objection.
Wouldn't you want to tell the truth to get out of jail?
But if they ask me who shot at me, and I didn't see nobody shoot at me, and they constantly thinking that I seen somebody shoot at me, and I keep telling them I didn't see nobody shoot at me, they don't want to believe me, so what I got to do then? And if I feel like this is the only reason I'm going to jail, I got to stick to what I don't tell her.
So why tell your girlfriend that when no police are in the room?
I don't know.
Why tell your girlfriend that?
I don't know. I don't recall me sitting there just telling her that. I don't even understand how his name even came about from the start. I just know once I heard Tay, that's why I was just stuck with Tay. I don't know if I brought it up. Which I doubt I brought it up because I didn't have no reason to bring your name up.
How would the police know who Tay was?
I don't know.
How would the police know if Tay was even in your neighborhood at the time?
I don't know.
So why would the police bring up Tay?
Then I said, I don't know.
I sustain the objection.
Do you recall providing Detective Gaither a picture of Tay before ever even
I may have
getting
to go
into
get
the
it.
interview room?
No.
Do you recall during the interview when you told her it was Tay, you told her, I gave you a picture of him?
I don't recall.
And do you recall her pulling up the picture and showing you the picture in the interview on her phone?
I recall her showing me a picture of him.
And do you recall not really wanting to point him out on there?
Because I knew at that point what she was doing. They was forcing me to say it was him who shot me. Because I like I keep telling you now, and to this day I still feel as in they did that. Like I never seen him shoot at me. Even when they called me, tried to get me to come to trial on it, I told them I'm not coming to trial because I never saw who shot at us. And they said, well, Mr. Cope, all right, y'all can call me. I didn't see who shot at me.
Welcome, Selden.
Were you concerned about being labeled a snitch because of what was happening to your cousin?
My only concern was not being able to protect my family.
Do you recall telling Detective Gaither that you were concerned because your cousin was being tortured because he was labeled a snitch?
My only concern was being in jail and not able to protect my family.
Okay. Do you recall telling Detective Gaither in referencing your cousin, well, he's getting tortured. Everywhere he goes, he's a fucking rat. Don't nobody want him around. This and that, this and that. And then he turned right around. And I'm in the same same shoes he's in. But I won't. I don't know if he did whatever he had going on, but you didn't want to be labeled a snitch.
This is the police talking to me, and they're not trying to hear what I'm saying. They're trying to force me to say that somebody shot at me that I did not see shoot at me. I'm trying everything in my power to not lie on this man.
Oops, sorry.
I'm not here to protect nobody that shot at me and my child.
Did you ever give Gaither the gun that you used in the to shoot back at those individuals who shot at you and your child
Nope.
Why not?
Cause you're gonna use it against me.
Who did you get the gun from?
What you mean who I got it from?
Who did you get the gun?
I stand the objection.
I hope so, Frank. I hope so. But who knows?
Do you recall being shown a photographic lineup with Tay inside of the photographic lineup?
Say that again.
In this interview, do you recall being shown a photographic lineup?
I think so.
Okay. And do you recall not wanting to sign the photographic lineup?
Right. I do remember.
Okay. Why didn't you want to sign the photographic lineup?
Because in my heart and from facts, I didn't see who shot at me, and they constantly kept trying to say they kept pushing me to say to make me think that I saw somebody I know I didn't see.
Right. I want to kind of switch gears. Do you know someone by the name of Trivia?
Who?
Trivia.
Who is it?
Do you know someone by the name of Trivia? Do you know who Moon Tunk's girlfriend was back in 2015?
No, I don't remember who his girlfriend is.
Okay. Do you know someone by the name of Aunt Trivia?
I never heard the name before. I don't know.
Okay. Do you recall talking to a Detective Lewis in the same interview regarding Trivia being Kel and Moon Tunk's girlfriend?
Oh, her? What about her?
So my question is, so do you now know who Trivia is?
Yeah, I know you're talking about.
Okay. And
Yes, Lady Trucker, that would be the better way to do it for sure.
in
100%.
2015, do you recall her home being shot up during the time of early 2015?
I remember.
Okay. And were you accused of shooting up her home?
That's what she told the police?
Did you shoot up her home?
No.
Is that some kind of a dance? He's making me need to yawn and stretch.
In the 3 interviews we've talked about so far, were you asked by the investigators to tell the truth? In the interviews we've talked about so far?
It don't matter.
Yes or no? Do you recall being asked to tell the truth?
I don't know. I don't
God
recall.
bless you. God bless you. You don't recall if you were asked to tell the
I
truth?
don't.
If you were asked to tell the truth, why wouldn't you tell the truth in those interviews?
Why wouldn't I tell the truth?
Yes.
Because I know the police are trying to lock me up.
What would they be trying to lock you up for?
Say that again.
What would they be trying to lock you up for?
Whatever they can.
Whatever they can put on me.
Oh, I
Did
got it
you
right.
Now, would telling the truth have gotten you locked up?
Huh?
I sustain the question.
Now, in June of 2015, were you arrested for having a gun at the Dunbar Recreation Center?
Yes.
Say that. Can you say that again?
In June of 2015, were you arrested for having?
It was a rifle, and he left it on the bleachers or
June?
something while he went down
Was
to
I
play
arrested?
basketball.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Is that a yes?
Yeah.
Can you tell the jurors what occurred at the Dunbar Recreation Center?
I was playing basketball. The police came there and locked me up.
And why did the police lock you up?
For leaving the gun on the
Because I'm
bleachers.
wounded.
Did you have a gun at the Dunbar Recreation?
I had a basketball in my hand.
Was there a gun also at the Dunbar Recreation?
They say it was.
Where was that gun located?
I was placed in handcuffs, walked out. I don't know.
Did you have a gun inside of an H&M bag while at the Dunbar Recreation Center?
I was in the basketball. I was in the recreation center playing basketball. I had my shirt off with no gun on me playing basketball.
Because you left the gun on the bleachers around the kids.
To the Dunbar Recreation Center in an H&M bag.
I was playing basketball in the Dunbar Recreation Center.
So you answer is no, that you did not have a gun at the.
What I'm saying, well, I was playing basketball. When I looked up, I seen a whole bunch of police in there walking towards me, putting my hand behind my back, and asked me, was it bad mine? I said, I don't know nothing about no bad. They took me to the car. There was a whole lot more police that came. They took me from Mechanicsville to Turnerfield and asked me, was that gun mine or was that bag mine? I told them I don't know nothing about nothing. They said, if they find out that their gun or their bag was mine, they're going to come back and lock me up. I said, do your job. They let me go. And that was it.
And did they let you go that first day?
They let me go.
All right. Did they eventually arrest you for that gun in that bag?
They did.
All right. And was that the gun that was purchased by Quindarius Zachary for you?
No.
I guess.
Yes, no, I don't know.
Yeah, that's what I went to jail for.
Okay. So that was the gun, the chopper that we talked about earlier.
I'm gonna overrule the objection. That was Mr. Steele, asked and answered.
Was that the chopper that we discussed earlier?
We discussed this earlier?
The gun that was recovered, is that the chopper that was purchased at Arrowhead Pawn Shop by Quindarius Zachary?
That's the gun that sent me to the feds.
And is that the gun that was found at Dunbar Recreation Center?
I guess so.
Why did you have the gun at Dunbar Recreation Center?
I just plead guilty to it.
Did you tell officers that you were trying to sell that gun and that's why you had it at the Dunbar Recreation Center?
Again, I was going to jail.
Ms. Hilton, before you posit some other questions, I think we probably need to take a comfort break. So,
They
ladies
gave
and
him
gentlemen, let's take about 10
immunity.
minutes and then see where the afternoon leads
Chrissy.
us. Okay. All right. All rise.
Chrissy, they gave him immunity, and he had a lawyer, but he's fired that lawyer. The immunity, in my view, was not broad enough because it did not encompass immunity from federal liability. But the judge threw him in jail because he took the fifth, and I guess he had enough after a weekend, and he
All
started
right, ladies and gentlemen,
testifying
jury
on
has
Monday.
left us for a recess.
All right. Now I should put a poll probably in here. How long will this 5-minute comfort break actually last? I mean, is this going to be 10 minutes, 20 minutes, an hour? And in the interim, is anybody in the courtroom going to be put in jail? Those are the questions that I want to know because the odds are pretty good. All right. What do you guys think about Woody's testimony so far? I mean, look, my first thoughts about this, and in no particular order, stream of consciousness inbound here. The jury's bored out of their mind. They absolutely don't know what to make of this. The prosecutor is doing a terrible job orienting the jury to what she's trying to prove. You can still get your message across if you have a witness like Woody who's all over the place and is not cooperating with you. He's not saying what you would expect him to say. He's not confirming the details that you believe he should be able to confirm. But you've got your videos and you've got your transcripts of his interviews, and you know what he said in the past. So what you do is you're impeaching your own witness through like prior inconsistent statements. Okay. And in Georgia, if a witness comes to court and says the sky is green, and on another occasion they said the sky is blue, and you can prove the prior inconsistent statement, then the inconsistent prior statement is considered substantive evidence in the case. So they're not going to argue to the jury that Woody's testimony is what they should believe. They're going to argue eventually to the jury sometime in 2035 that the initial statements that Woody doesn't recall or denies or says he was lying when he made them, those are the statements that they're going to say the jury should rely on to convict these people. It's going to be a tough sell because the prosecutor is doing a terrible job orienting this jury to exactly what she's trying to prove. What exactly, is the point that she's making. If you can't understand the point that she's making here, you better believe the jury probably cannot either. Now, that being said, the jury's been forced to observe every minute of this, and so we haven't. We've got the luxury. I could get up and walk away from this microphone right now and go take a nap. They can't. You guys can come and go and do as you please. They can't. They're trapped. They get paid $25 a day, and they're mad. They're mad for having to be stuck through this. I mean, I can't imagine anything worse. Well, few things, not many things worse than having to get up and drive down to downtown Atlanta, the Fulton County Courthouse, every single day for a couple of years or more just to make $25 a day. I mean, that is absolute Eighth Amendment, cruel and unusual punishment. Oh, my goodness. All right. Well, other than that, I think, by the way, 2,500 people here, hit the like button so that the algorithm can suggest this channel to other people who want to learn about the real justice system. And thanks for hanging out with us, all 2,500 of you. And those of you in the chat, you're cracking me up. This is a good one. It's moving so fast, I can't flag the one that, there we go. The parking costs more than, that's true. Now they happen to have a free shuttle down there. You get, if you're on the jury, you get to go to some parking lot. Don't leave your valuables in your car. You get to go to some parking lot several blocks away from the courthouse, and they have a shuttle that'll take you up to the courthouse. But it's not exactly the most convenient thing in the world. And when I've had jury duty, or I did not take advantage of it. I paid to park myself in a parking garage on an upper deck, so that the odds, I think, are less likely that somebody's going to break into your car. But the jury technically doesn't have to pay for parking, but it's a pain in the rear end if they utilize the free shuttle that Fulton County provides for them. All right. So, what questions do you guys have? I've been doing my best to try to answer them, here and there as we go through the afternoon's testimony. I've noted that your comments, some of you folks are, I'm getting the sense that a lot of you are either lawyers or you have a lot of extensive experience, watching trials, because some of you folks have some very astute observations. And I'm very much enjoying watching and listening to this chat. Yeah, I think they're all still in jail. I believe everybody who's currently in the courtroom is in jail. There's some of the defendants that may have been granted bond, but Young Thug himself is still in jail. By the way, he's being held separately. He's held at the Cobb County Jail, and every day deputy sheriffs have to pick him up and drive him back and forth to the courthouse. He's being held separately. Woody, yep. Woody's finally free, but you know what? That could change at the drop of a hat. He might be in jail by the end of the day. Hell, the lawyers could all be in jail for all we know by the end of the day. How can they get off the jury? All right. Well, that's a great question. So in jury selection, it's 12 jurors, and I have no idea how many alternates. They got a lot. But it's the first 12 people plus however many alternates that are not struck by either side for, there's peremptory challenges that you can use for almost any reason. And then you got challenges for cause for people who just can't be fair, or sometimes if they have a health condition that would prevent them from serving, those kind of people can be excused for cause. But once they're on the jury and they're trapped here, I mean, I've seen jurors be replaced by alternates. Sometimes it's because you catch the juror in some kind of misconduct. But I mean, look, what if a juror has a heart attack? What if a juror dies? What if a juror has some other personal emergency or family emergency or something like that just, compels them to be away? It would have to be something pretty extreme like that for them to get off the jury at this point. But that's why they have alternates. I'll tell you, I would not want to be there. I wouldn't want to be, and I'm surprised they're not losing a lot of jurors at this point. Because, I would imagine that there's some people that would be doing anything and everything to get out of that jury. I know I would. All right. Sean asks, and by the way, I almost read that as Susan. I'm not wearing my glasses and it's much smaller on my screen. Sean asks, because they gave him immunity for his testimony, does it apply if they don't like it? No, they're stuck with his testimony. Whatever he says, they're stuck with it. They can do certain things to try to, control his testimony, and they're not doing a good job, but no, they're stuck with whatever he says. Can the testimony get taken away? I don't know what you mean by that, but the answer that he gives is the answer that he gives. There's a saying that you can't take the skunk out of a jury box. So once he says something that's harmful to maybe to their case, it's done. The jury's heard it. It's there. It's like the odor of mendacity, and it permeates the jury box. Carson hasn't watched the whole thing, but the prosecution doesn't seem to have a linear case. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of the point I was making. They're not doing a very good job, Carson, orienting us to what it is they're trying to achieve or to accomplish what they're trying to do. Yes, there is a point of diminishing return, and I would submit to you there's a really good chance that they are already there. They've probably already lost the jury. That's just my take, but thank you for the questions and the super chat. This is just this is a rhetorical question, but if I get pulled over in Fulton County, I got a passenger in the car with me, you're going to probably roll into, that's right, you're going to have racketeering charges for conspiracy to run a red light or something, no doubt about it. All right. Let's see. What about federal immunity? Does he have it? No, he doesn't. The short answer is because these state prosecutors don't have the authority to give him federal immunity. Only the federal prosecutors. Now, they gave him state immunity. Apparently, the U.S. Attorney's Office is right down the street. I mean, they could send smoke signals to him if they didn't want to pick up the phone and call, but they could communicate with the U.S. Attorney's Office to give Woody federal immunity if they wanted to do that. It would be probably an easy thing to accomplish if they had lifted a finger to try to do it. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they asked and were told no. But in any event, Woody does not have federal immunity, which is why he took the fifth, and which is why he wound up in jail for the first weekend. I want to see. Here you go. This is when Woody first started testifying. Just to refresh our memory, this was the very beginning of Woody's testimony.
See, our jury has left us. Mr. Copeland, given the fact that you have invoked your Fifth Amendment privilege, but the state has already given you immunity under 24-5-507, this court holds you in willful contempt, and we'll see you on Monday. And we'll see if we can get some more testimony at that point in time. Take me into custody.
Okay, you notice how when Woody was taken into custody, you notice how the camera again focused on the seal like this, which is what they do on the breaks. For some weird, bizarre, odd reason, Judge Glanville, for reasons only known to him, and he made a big deal out of this, he told the media that they were not under any circumstances to film or whatever, have their cameras on or pointed towards Woody when he was being handcuffed and taken away. We weren't allowed to see that. And I don't know why. Doesn't make any difference. Look, it's happening in an open courtroom. It's open to the public. Why can't we see it? And so what that set up was kind of this confrontation here.
And for an assertion to be made that I or Mr. Copeland are somehow being influenced by somebody over here is absolutely ridiculous. I take great offense to it, and I can tell Ms. Love that I am going to the State Bar to report her for contacting a witness that she knows to be represented by counsel. She and I have had conversations about Kenneth Copeland.
See, there was this big brouhaha about whether or not anybody knew Copeland was going to take the fifth. The prosecutor's not supposed to call him and put him on the stand in front of the jury if she knows that he's going to take the fifth. And so the gentleman you just saw speaking was Jonathan Melnick. He was a lawyer. I've been later told he was appointed by the court to represent a witness, which is something I've never heard of. But in any event, he represents the witness. But then the following Monday, when the ex parte and all that happened, Melnick's out of town, apparently on a pre-planned, pre-purchased, out-of-state vacation. And so he had a fill-in lawyer substituting for him. But he's upset because the prosecutor has been talking to his client without him being there. And that's a no-no. It's just as big of a no-no as the ex parte communications are. And so there you saw Melnick, this is last week, saying he's going to go to the State Bar to report, the prosecutor, Miss Love. the state bar is going to be really, really, really busy, and they don't have a lot of people down there that investigate bar complaints. So I'm sure they have a huge backlog now following the goings on in this trial, and of course everything else with Willis office and the Trump racketeering case. But in any event, that's what that was about. And then right around the same time, you had the judge really showing his rear end, yelling and screaming and having a conniption fit directed at one of the lawyers who, well, you just watch for yourself and we'll talk about it.
And I know that they did know that he was going to take the fifth because I heard it said outside right before I walked into court. I even said, the officer.
Then why didn't you, as an officer of the court, tell me before we took his testimony?
I told Mr. Steele.
No. Why didn't you, as an officer of this court, tell me?
Well, then that's my.
I got a problem with you now.
Well, that's fine. I mean.
I got a problem with you now.
Well.
I would suggest you don't say any more.
I've already said it.
I know that, sir. And the problem is you should have told me if that were your case, then you've just made an argument we didn't even need to have, because I could have certainly asked him based upon your proffer. Now you want to have it both ways. You can't do that.
Your Honor, I thought the state knew that. And
that's not what the point is. The point is you as an advocate is you should have told me. Both sides have an equal responsibility under the rules of professional responsibility.
Okay, as long as we're both responsible, that's fine.
All right, have a seat, sir. Thank you.
Now, look, I mean, obviously the judge, he's letting his emotions again get the best of him. That was last week. But, here's the problem. Woody is not that lawyer's witness. He's the prosecutor's witness. The prosecutor is the one that's been talking to him. These defense lawyers heard out in the hallway or something that apparently Woody was going to take the fifth. But Woody loves witness. She's the one apparently that's been coaching him and meeting with him and talking to him. She's the one that should have, and if apparently they both knew, she should be the one that he's yelling at for putting this witness on the stand to take the fifth, just only to take the fifth. It's improper. So why is the judge directing his ire at the defense and not the prosecutor who called the witness? That's what I don't understand. I never have understood that part of this. Senior Chief asks, what are the odds that since they knew he was going to be out of town, I think you're talking about the attorney Melnick, since December, they purposely scheduled Woody for this? You know what? If I were a cynic, I might think that there's something to that. But of course, that I'm not a cynic. I'm the most optimistic person you'll ever meet when it comes to this case. So I can't believe that they would purposely do that. It must have been complete happenstance that right when Melnick started to say where he is, I know where he is, but I'm not going to say where he is because it's it's nobody's business, really. Suffice it to say, he's got a pre-planned vacation. He's out of town. It's booked and paid for. And they brought Woody on right when they knew he was getting ready to leave. If I were a cynic, I might think that was kind of pre-planned. Yeah. All right. Here's a question. Why can't the defense ask the judge for the case law that allows him to have an ex parte conversation? Here's the thing, Katie, and thanks for the question. The judge isn't letting them get a word, in edgewise. The judge is not letting them complete a sentence. They can't give him their own case law. They can't make their own argument without getting cut off. In the stream we did yesterday about the motion to recuse him, they alleged as the basis for the recusal, they alleged that it was because of all these things that happened in the ex parte. And then the judge's response was, you guys are simply asking me to recuse myself because you don't like my rulings. No, it's not that maybe they don't like your rulings, but that's not the reason for the motion to recuse. The reason for the motion to recuse is because you went behind closed doors in secret and you met with the prosecutor and you met with their main witness, who, by the way, is already under oath. And you didn't tell us, you didn't give us an opportunity to object to it before you did it. You're excluding us from it when we got a right to be there. That's what the basis of it was. It's not that they are asking you to recuse yourself because they don't like your rulings. That was one of the most disingenuous exchanges by Judge Glanville that I've ever seen. All right. Sometimes I get a little excited, get up on my soapbox. 2,471 people. Hit the like button if you haven't done it and subscribe to the channel. We've currently gone over 41,000, I think, subscribers, and I am very grateful to all of you and thank you for it. If you like the content on this channel, there are links in the show description for places and ways to further support Inside the Law. And thank you for those of you who have, with the super chats today and who might in the future, and with the super thanks later. If you're watching this on replay, thank you very, very much. Jennifer, did you see me on Viva yesterday? I was in line at the grocery store on the way home trying to pick up a couple of items, and I got a text message from Viva with the link to join him. I'm like, you want me to do this now? I'm in line at the pharmacy down at the grocery store. He said, no, we're going just in a little while. So I spent a few minutes on with Viva yesterday. He's a great guy, good friend of mine. I know him. We know each other personally, and we've gotten to know each other pretty well over the last several months. And we try to collaborate where we can. And we had a nice talk about some of the same things that we've been talking about here. And that was a lot of fun. And thank you for watching. And Jennifer, I appreciate you very much. Thank you so much. Laura, I remember your hurricane on your profile there. Laura, you've been here for a while. So I recognize that. I remember you, and it seems it was just in March. It was in March that I was at 1,000 or 1,100, late March at that. So it's been, look, I've been very humbled by the success of the channel so far. I mean, I just can't begin to express my gratitude, not only to those of you who have subscribed, but to those like Viva, Eric Hunley, Nate the lawyer, even lead attorney. I mean, everyone in the LawTube space has been so welcoming and so helpful. I mean, you would think that we would be competing with each other, but we really don't. It's quite something, and it's a great community to be a part of. And thank you, Laura, for being here since 1100. Some of you have, and welcome, like Adair sub today. Thank you, and welcome Inside the Law, Adair. What I was going to point out is that some people have asked, is there anything that the Supreme Court can do now that they've got the contempt appeal and everything from the Brian Steele situation? The short answer is no. They can't jump in and stop this trial. I wish there was a mechanism to just put a stop to it. The only mechanism that I know of, and maybe somebody out there knows more than me and smarter than me and can put it in the chat, there's nothing that can be done other than a mistrial, and the only one that can grant the mistrial would be Judge Glanville. That's it. Jennifer, thank you very much. An anti-lawfare team. Yeah, I mean, I think that those of us who are in this space, and by that I mean the LawTube community, I think generally speaking, we don't like to see the weaponization of the justice system, because some of those guys like Viva, they were able to quit practicing law when they started streaming. I'm not quite there yet, but hopefully soon, maybe one day. But we who practice law, we don't like to see the justice system misused, for any reason. We don't like it to be pointed like a shotgun at specific citizens that prosecutors are seeking to get them for whatever particular reason. I mean, you don't use it as a weapon and point it at a specific citizen and go hunting for that citizen. It's just whether it's Donald Trump or if it's Barack Obama or if it's Young Thug. I mean, and somebody asked me the other day, I mean, don't you care what Young Thug did? I don't know what Young Thug did, and it's not relevant. What's relevant for my issue that I'm concerned with is not whether he did anything. I don't know if he did anything. Maybe he did, maybe he didn't. The point is he's not getting a fair trial. And if they can do it to him, and if they can do it to Donald Trump, or they can do it to any of you guys. And it would be wrong. And it would be wrong if they did it. And look, I mean, you can't look. An Atlanta rapper named Young Thug is probably not some, right winger that the left is going after, but nevertheless, they are going after him. But they're not doing it in a fair way. And you see what's happening. You see judges who break the rules, who prosecute try to throw lawyers in jail when they call them out on breaking the rules. And you just got to wonder what is happening here? What is happening to our system when it's being hijacked and misused, abused for whatever nefarious purposes? And as it just so happens, this happens to be Fannie Willis's office, someone we're all familiar with from the Trump RICO case. A lot of people started watching this Young Thug case back in the beginning, but a lot more came over and got interested in Young Thug once they realized it was Fannie Willis' office that was prosecuting him. All right. I keep getting up on my soapboxes, and I'm sorry for that. But anyway, let me see if I can find some good questions to answer. Here's one. Well, wait a minute. Oh, you know what? Ashley Merchant actually told me that now that you mention it, she told me that he was a known Trump, and I didn't know that. I had no clue. I wonder if maybe that has something to do with Willis and why she's going after him. I don't know. But the chat was moving so fast. I tried to click on question here. I guess you mean the JQC, the Judicial Qualifications Commission, simply remove the judge from the bench? Well, the JQC can remove him or can take some emergency quick action. Only the Supreme Court can remove him from office because he would be entitled to an administrative kind of a trial if they level ethics charges against him. But they have some tools in their toolbox that, could, I think, on an emergency basis, if they felt it was an emergency, they could take some action. But the trial another judge would have to come in, because when you think of double jeopardy, okay, the jeopardy that we speak of has attached to these defendants. So, I mean, once that jury is sworn, they start hearing testimony, jeopardy attaches. And so you've got to, if you end the trial because there's some misconduct by a judge or a prosecutor, they can't be retried. So presumably they would go ahead and finish the trial with a new judge, but we're talking about hypotheticals. But Ben, thanks for the question. Looks like I saw somebody walking near the camera. I saw a flagpole move. Like, I wonder what's going on in the courtroom. Maybe they're getting ready to come back. It's been, let's see. He said 5 minutes. Does anybody know how long it's been? It's got to have been 10 minutes at least, if not 15. Does the Bar Association have any influence on the real-time behavior of the lawyers? No, they don't. I mean, look, the State Bar of Georgia is a small state agency. They do investigate allegations of if a lawyer is alleged to have violated some bar rule. They have a process by which they can investigate and, if necessary, take action. But again, they're small. They don't have a lot of resources, and they're not geared up to move real fast. Mike says has it been really 30 minutes? I mean, look, this jury making $25 a day on a Friday. It's Father's Day weekend. They want to get home to their families, and he's wasting all this time. I mean, they've got to be just livid. I know that I would be. I would be livid. Ty, so it's literally been 30 minutes. See, when I get up on the soapbox and I start on my rants, I lose track of time. So thanks for helping me out. Thanks to the still roughly 2,500, 2,300 people in here. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't. I guess I need to set a new goal. My new goal that I want to try to reach, that I'm going to set, is 50,000. I want to get to 50,000 subscribers. So if you haven't, please subscribe and tell your friends and your family, tell your mail carrier, tell your waitresses, your bartenders, tell your hairstylists, tell everybody you know. If they have an interest in the real justice system, tell them to subscribe over here so that we can learn how the real system works. All right. Christina points out, feels like longer than 30 minutes. I would be livid as a juror. And yes, it is immensely disrespectful of their time. And this is a judge who gets elected by, these people. These are his voters. You would think that he would be a little bit more worried about their time. Thank you, Ray J. All right. So this is a good point. Okay. So some people do get paid their full-time pay if they have a job. If they're self-employed, I guess they're just hosed. But some people, guys, and we're about to go back, some people, who's going to pay you for 2 or 3 years to not come to work and do your job? I mean, if you have jury duty for a week, 10 days, one trial, I get it. I couldn't afford to pay somebody full time when they couldn't come to work for over 2 years. All right, we'll check back in and see what's going on. Thank you all for the excellent questions and the comments. We'll keep trying to get to them. Kathy, the short answer is yes, sort of.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. All jurors present? All right.
Oh,
Thank you, Debbie Hudson. All right.
6 months on a jury. Good grief. Sorry about that.
Members of the jury, with your indulgence and patience, we're going to go probably about another 20 minutes or so, and then we're going to recess for the day, okay? All right.
All right, 20 minutes
Madam.
should be an hour and a half.
Mr. Copeland, what blood set were you a part of?
What? Can you repeat that?
What blood set were you a part of?
I may be negative.
Let's say what I part of.
Yes, sir.
I wasn't part of no real blood set.
Okay. Did you ever claim to be a Billy Blood?
I said I was.
Okay. And were you?
No.
Did you tell Detective Gaither that you were, not Detective Gaither, Detective Lewis, in that February 21st interview that you were Billy Blood?
I don't know what I told him in when they questioned me.
Okay. Do you recall talking to Detective Lewis about the meeting with Mo where they said that they were going to kill you?
Huh?
Do you remember talking to Detective Lewis about the meeting with Mo, who was in prison, and that they were planning on killing you?
I don't recall.
Okay. And do you recall her asking you why you weren't at this meeting?
Huh?
Do you recall her asking you why you weren't at this meeting?
Why was I at the meeting?
Why were you not at the meeting?
At what meeting?
The meeting with the Bloods, the meeting of the Bloods trying to kill you.
I don't recall.
Okay. And do you
Sure. February 21st,
What year?
2015.
Yes, that's part of the Georgia Association of
And
Criminal
then-
Defense Lawyers.
Do you recall telling her you weren't down with them, but that you were Billy Blood?
I don't recall.
Okay. And then do you recall her asking, who are you with now?
I don't recall.
Okay. And you told her at that point they got mad.
I told her.
You told Detective Lewis.
Oh, that's a lady?
Yes. At that point they got mad because I didn't go back with them. I started hanging out with Thug and them, so I'm YSL.
No, I don't recall.
Did you consider yourself part of the gang YSL?
Faces. I didn't mean for you to speak. I just want you to give me your faces. Overrule, sir.
Did you consider yourself part of YSL, the gang?
Gang, I consider myself 372.
When did you consider yourself 372?
What you mean, when?
Did you consider yourself a 372 when you called yourself Billy Blood?
I always been 372.
So even as a part of YSL, where you consider, or do you consider yourself 372?
Gang, I'm always 372 when it come to gang.
Did you also consider yourself part of YSL?
372 when you speaking on gang.
Yes or no? Did you consider yourself a part of YSL?
But you saying gang wise, like
So you did not consider yourself part of YSL, the gang?
when it come to gang, I consider myself 372.
Now, going back to June of 2015 when you were arrested for the Fed charges, we talked about the gun that was at the Dunbar Center. When you were arrested, where were you arrested at?
Which time?
In the middle of a
When you
layup.
got arrested in June?
June 10th?
Yes.
At the house.
Did they find any guns at the house?
Yeah, they did.
Were you charged in your federal charges with that gun? Do you recall?
Yes.
Okay. Now, once you were arrested, were you brought in to Atlanta Police Department headquarters for an interview?
Yes.
Okay. And do you remember how long that interview was?
It was long.
Do you remember being about 9 hours?
It was long.
Long. Okay. And during the course of that interview, did you speak with multiple detectives?
Yeah, I did.
Do you remember speaking with anyone from the ATF or?
Yeah, I did.
And was Detective Gaither in that interview?
She was at some point.
What about Detective Dennis?
Who?
Detective Dennis, do you remember him?
Yeah, I think he was too.
Okay. And what about Detective Thorpe?
I think he was too.
Okay. And when you were arrested and brought down to APD, did you want to give them truthful information?
Again, I was going to jail.
Do you recall telling them that you're not going to worry about me lying?
Can you say that again?
Sure. In the early part of that interview, do you recall telling them you're not going to have to worry about me lying?
Probably so.
Why did you want to speak to the police that day?
Because I was trying to finesse my way out of jail.
And what did you think you had to do to finesse yourself out of jail?
Well, they kept asking about Young Thug, so that's the direction I had to go.
Did they ask you about anything else?
They asked me about the gun. I think they asked me about the gun first.
Did they ask you about anything else?
Yeah, they asked me about a lot.
Do you recall them asking you about Nuts murder?
Yes.
And did you speak with them about Nuts murder?
Yes.
And did you speak with them about the gun at the Dunbar Center?
Yes.
And the gun at your house?
Yes.
Okay. And did you also speak with them about Young Thug?
Yes.
And did you talk with them about Little D from Mechanicsville?
Yes.
And what about Shannon?
Yes.
Now, when you got to that interview, did you believe that people were trying to kill you?
Uh-huh. I thought people trying to kill me for a long time.
Specifically in June, did you still believe that people thought you snitched on them regarding the murder of Donovan Thomas?
Can you say it one more time?
Sure. When you had this interview in June of 2015, did you think going into that interview that people thought that you had snitched on them regarding the murder of Donovan Thomas?
Overruled. Well, no, I take that back. I'm gonna sustain the question.
Why did you think people were trying to kill you?
Because I was paranoid. People were shooting at me.
Did you tell the detectives in this June 10th interview that everyone in the world is trying to kill me because they think I told on them?
No, I told them that people were trying to kill me because they say I killed Nut.
Do you recall telling the detectives about the fact that that Thug's sister had called you or had texted you?
Can you say that again?
Sure. Let me ask you this. Did Thug's sister ever text you regarding you going to the police about Nut's murder?
I text her and told her that I was going to kill Thug when I get a chance. That's what you talking about?
No, but why did you text her that you were going to kill Thug when you get a chance?
Because I let a lot of people get in my ear.
And what did they get in your ear about? It's effect on the listener, Your Honor. What did they get in your ear about?
A whole lot of stuff. People coming to me every 5 minutes with something about not just Thug. It was just a lot of people, but mainly most people was coming to me about Thug.
What about the?
Nah, they just kept coming to me like he ain't right. He ain't supposed to. I don't know how to answer that.
I mean, but what were they telling you such that you thought that you had to kill Thug?
Say it again.
What were they telling you such that you thought in your mind you wanted to kill him?
That to watch him because everybody saying I killed Nut and they didn't want that on them, so they gonna put it on me. I don't know. Like it was so many different people just telling me stuff. So,
but to kill somebody, what were they telling you to make you think you had to kill Thug?
What did they tell me that made me think I had to kill him?
Yes.
That I better watch him?
Why?
Because they said I was messing up his career. Like they saying that I was putting him in stuff that I got going on. Like they were saying all type of stuff.
So why would you messing up his career mean you have to kill Thug?
They said to me, okay, a female came to me and told me that she heard something. Then another person came to me and told me that he heard something. So people kept coming to me and I was paranoid because I had said something to a friend of mine where I felt as in whatever I was saying to him had got back out.
So let's start there. What did you tell your friend that you think got back to him?
I was plotting on him.
Why would you be plotting on Thug?
I don't recall.
Okay. Do you recall telling the detectives that you called, that Dolly texted you and was cursing you out?
Yeah.
Okay. And This is years ago. Do you remember what she was cursing you out about?
Cause I told her I want to kill Thug when I see him.
Do you recall the last 4 digits of the number that she was texting you from?
No,
Do you recall giving that full phone number to the detectives?
no,
Do you recall giving them a phone number ending in 1990 for his sister?
probably so.
Which sister are we texted you?
Dolly.
Okay. Did she have another name?
I said Dolly.
Did you call her something else?
Yeah, I call her Dolly and Max.
Okay. Do you recall texting Dolly, damn, your brother's trying to have me killed?
I probably have.
Okay. Why would you text her that?
Because I thought what I was said to somebody else had got back to him.
So what did you tell somebody else that you thought got back to him?
I don't recall.
Okay. What, again, would make you text that to her brother, to Dolly? Damn, your brother's trying to have me killed. You know what I mean? Like, what the hell I ever did to him? Why would you text that to her?
I told you I was paranoid. It was so much going on. It was so much going on. I had so many people in my head. And that's just my way of trying to force a reaction.
Force a reaction from who?
From him, to see how he react to it.
Why were you trying to force a reaction from him?
Because I didn't know what the truth was. I didn't know. I didn't know. I didn't know what was going on.
Now, we talked about in February, strike that. We talked about in January, people thinking that you had killed Nut, right? Also in February, did people think you were trying to kill Nut?
Huh?
Did people think that you killed Nut, excuse me?
Objection calls for speculation.
Did you believe that people thought that you killed Nut?
Did I believe it?
Yes.
People were convinced.
Okay. By the time we got to June, did you still have that same belief? When you
Did
got
I
arrested?
have that belief?
Yes. When you got arrested in June, did you still have that same belief that people thought you had done, that you had killed Nut?
I don't know. Like, so many. It was so many people on. So many people just like. A lot of people said they know I didn't do it, but a lot of people said I did it. So I don't.
And I'll ask you again, did you kill Nut?
No.
Now, when you got to this interview, do you recall speaking with the detectives about the night that Nut was killed?
Can you say that again?
Sure. When you got to this June interview, do you recall speaking to the detectives about the night that Nut was killed?
Yeah. Wait, interview.
The June one?
Yes.
Okay. Now, did you have concern during this June interview that Thug had observed you speaking to police?
Huh?
Did you have concern during this June interview that Thug had seen you speaking to police?
No.
Do you recall telling the detectives in this June interview, long story short, the detectives was calling my phone and he was right there. And they asked you, Thug was right there? And you said, yeah. So I answered the phone and he's looking at me like this, but I don't know what's going on. They asked you, why is he looking like that? And you said, because he see me answering the phone for them.
No, he told me that. When I answered the phone, I answered my phone on speaker, so It was my baby mama calling saying that the investigators wanted to talk to me. I was like, for what? And that's when he said what he wanted to talk to me about. And he got on the phone, asked me, could I come down there and interview him? And Doug was like, go down there.
Why were you concerned then that he saw you answering the phone for the police in front of him?
I don't know. I don't know about him being concerned.
Why would you tell the police that?
Because it's the police.
If there wasn't an issue, why would there be a need to tell the police that Thug was?
Because at the time the police questioned me, it was me against everybody. So they saying that they want Thug, and that's what I'm trying to do. Get them up off of me. So I had text Thug phone the day before they locked me up. And I texted their phone and told them that I was gonna kill him when I see him. So the police got me the next day, and when they got me, that was it.
Let's go back. What day are you talking about? You texted
June.
in June. You said you texted Thug. Who did you text?
One day, I texted their phone. I called his sister and told her, tell your brother when I see him, I'm gonna kill him.
Okay.
I don't care who see me, I'm gonna kill him. Me and her were arguing on the phone. As me and her were arguing on the phone, I got mad and hang up the phone. The very next day, 2 days later, I know I woke up and the police was at the door.
Okay.
When they got me, I was mad with the world.
And were you arrested again for those guns?
Yes.
All right. And that's the only thing you were arrested for those guns.
And I think they put some gang charges on me or something. I think they put some more charges on me or something.
And I understand that you said you texted his sister Dolly that you were going to kill.
Nah, I don't think I texted. I told her over the phone that I was gonna kill him.
But was that in response of you asking her whether or not he was trying to kill you?
Oh no, I didn't ask her nothing.
Okay. So why did you tell the detectives that?
Because it's the detective.
Were you concerned that Thug did not want to hang around you anymore because you had been talking to the police?
No.
Do you recall telling detectives in this same June interview, he ain't want to hang around me anymore? And they asked you, this Thug? And you said, yeah. Like, damn, what the hell? Why the hell these niggas don't want me around? Do you recall being concerned that Thug did not want you hanging around him anymore?
Well, he actually called me a few times to try to get me to come around. I didn't want to go around.
So why would you tell the police why the hell these niggas don't want me around?
For purposes of record. Well, I'm
Into the police and they are after me.
Sorry about that.
When you were arrested, were you not trying to get out of jail?
For sure.
So why would you be telling them lies if you were trying to get out of jail?
So let me say this. If I tell the police the alphabet is ABCD, right? The police gonna tell me what come out the D. E come out the D, I think. ABCDE. Man, I don't know, man. I'm not about to go through all that. I don't, you know what I mean? Like, this is investigators. They locking me up, they targeting me. They constantly, every time I come outside, spit on the ground. SWAT team got me. Like,
So why would you stay in a 9-hour interview if they were out to come and get you?
you see what you said? That's how bad they was after me. They sit right there and put up with me for that long.
Okay, but you kept talking to them for the entire 9 hours. I'll rephrase. Did you speak with them for the entire 9 hours?
I was handcuffed to behind my back, legs shackled to the chair. And guess what I know? When I get finished talking to them, I'm going to the jail. So guess what I'm trying to do? Trying to buy as much time as I can before I go to the jail. That right there.
All right. Can you publish 378 Yankee Echo 1 for me? Is that June 10, 2015?
Yeah.
And is that the interview that we're discussing right now?
Yeah.
And in that interview, is that when you were first brought in once you were arrested? Are you still in your regular clothes?
Mm-hmm.
Is that a yes for the record?
Yes.
Now, sitting in this room, did you believe that the truth would have hurt you as you were doing this interview?
It's not about the truth hurt me. It's about the state of mind I was in.
Okay. But did you believe the truth would have hurt you?
I don't know.
So why won't you tell the truth?
Because I'm about to go to jail. So the state of mind I'm in is I'm about to go to jail.
Right. So would lying have helped you to get out of jail?
It have.
Didn't they tell that they were going to have to verify any information you told them?
They did.
Okay. So why would you tell a lie if they had to verify what they told you and you were trying to get out of jail?
I don't know.
Did you believe the truth would hurt Thug?
Say that again.
Did you believe the truth was going to hurt Thug?
You said, do I believe the truth gonna hurt Doug?
Yes.
That'd be his problem.
Right. But if you're in this state of mind, why would you be in there just telling lies?
Because that's who the police after. They locking me up, but they are acting him.
But they're locking you up and you are trying to get out of jail. Wouldn't you tell the truth to get out of jail?
It depends on who is the truth to.
Okay. Now, during the course of your interview, did the detective ask you, why were you so concerned about whether or not Thug knew you were talking to the police?
Can you say it again?
Let me just ask you a better question. Why were you concerned about whether or not Thug knew you were talking to the police?
I wasn't concerned.
Do you recall the detectives asking you, why does it matter to Thug if you're talking to the police or not, if he has no say in what happened with Nut? And your response is, between us men, I want to say they had something to do with it.
What about it?
Do you recall telling that to the detectives?
Probably, yeah.
Okay. And then when they asked you who was the they, do you recall saying Thug and them?
Okay.
Did you recall saying that?
Yeah.
Okay. And then they said Thug and them who? And you said Shannon and Bentley.
Say that again.
Sure. When they then asked you Thug and who, you responded Shannon and Bentley and all, because all of them just acting funny towards me.
Yeah.
Okay. Why would you say that?
Because it's the investigators.
Again, why say Shannon? Why say Shannon?
Because they know me and him be together. It's easy to shit with Shannon to get. I don't know. Like I told you, it's the state of mind I was in. When the police got me, I was doing a lot of stuff. I was, man, like they just caught me early in the morning. Like
Early in the morning, is that not when you're your freshest?
huh?
And early in the morning, is that not when you're your freshest?
No, they can't get me out. I'm asleep. I hear the door. Boom, 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 boom. If I'm asleep and she sleep, who being at this door like that? So it shot my brain. I've been shot ever since I looked like those seen the police. I can't forget it. Like
Ms. Hilton.
Okay.
All right. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, this might be a natural point for us to recess for today. Mr. Copeland, we'll see you Monday morning at 8:30, okay?
8:30?
Yes, sir. See you then.
Let's see if he tries to lock anybody up for the weekend before
All right, our
he's
witnesses
done.
left us. Ladies and gentlemen, jury, do you have any ministerial inquiry with me? Okay, remember next week, middle of the week, Wednesday is Juneteenth, and it is a holiday that which the county observes, so we will not be holding court on Wednesday, okay? So as for the other questions you all asked me about the early part of July, haven't made a decision on that. So more to follow a little bit later on that, okay? All right, anything else with me? Okay, all right. Let's review as so we can get you on the road. Remember to leave your notepads in the basket. Do not bring them home with you this weekend.
Do not have ex
or
parte
any point in
conversations
time.
over the
You need to stay in
weekend.
your headquarters. Next thing, ladies and gentlemen, as you are walking out, coming in, going to any place in the courthouse, to include the bathrooms, or when you're coming in the morning or at home, remember you're not authorized to talk about this case with anybody. All right. And remember, as I told you many times before, you cannot recap, handicap, otherwise review, or comment on any particular witness's testimony amongst yourselves. Remember, I told you that that would be a violation, and you cannot consider this case until such time as the court tells you that you can, and I will give you instructions on how you to do that. All right, remember, ladies and gentlemen, you cannot go by and visit any of the scenes that may be depicted. You cannot take any pictures, do any diagrams, or otherwise share any information that you may know about anything that has been testified to this far. You can only consider what's been lawfully presented within the four walls of this courtroom. That also pertains to other testimony you may have heard. Remember, it will be a violation for you to go on any third-party sites, websites, reference materials, or anything that would
Can't watch the replay of this
aid
live
in your
stream.
understanding or augment your understanding. Remember, you can only consider what's been presented within the four walls of this courtroom.
Mhm.
Remember, ladies and gentlemen, if anybody should try and reach out to you and by any means, mode, or of conversation or conveyance, remember that your duty is to report that to myself as well as Sergeant Ingram is immediately. All right. And remember, ladies and gentlemen, please resist temptation to listen to any third-party recaps to this particular trial or anything that may be going on. As remember, you can only consider what's presented in the four walls of this courtroom. Okay. All right. And ladies and gentlemen, lastly, thank you for your patience. Thank you for the attention that you've given to our advocates and to the court, and the continued patience and attention that you'll continue to give to as you consider this matter. Okay. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, for those of you that celebrate Father's Day or have fathers, brothers, or uncles, or any other significant men in your lives, happy Father's Day to all of you. Okay. All right. Anything else? Okay. All right. We're in recess until Monday at 8:30. All rise.
Happy Father's Day to everybody except Brian Steele, who I wanted to have spend the weekend in jail. If anything interesting is going to happen, it's going to be when the jury's gone. So we'll see what happens, if anything.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated.
Okay.
All right, councilors, any ministerial inquiry with me? Okay, anybody else? All right, happy Father's Day to all of you or as I mentioned to the jury, or those particular people in your lives that you consider to be important that are males. All right, and with that, We'll see you all on Monday, okay? All right, we're in recess. All right.
Yeah, they did, Laura. All right. That wraps up a wild week in the Young Thug trial. Before we go, look, there's still 2,500 people here, and I think it's worth pointing out that we had some really significant stuff that has great legal impact and import. It happened this week, and look, I mean, unless the Supreme Court of Georgia had, well, let me back up. Unless Ashley Merchant and the GACDL strike force hadn't showed up, Brian Steele might be spending this Father's Day weekend in jail, okay, because they were able to file, even though Judge Glanville was so certain. Remember him saying, look, there's no appeal, there's no bond, there's no supersedious, none of that stuff. But lo and behold, yesterday, of course, he was proven wrong, even though he was so certain, and the Supreme Court did, in fact, grant that supersedious and stayed his order of contempt. But it's worth it as we go into the weekend to take let me just play this video just so that we can remember this is what good advocacy is, and this is what bad judging is. Have a look.
What I was told was that Mr. Copeland said,
And you haven't answered my question yet.
I'm not
How
going
did
to
you
answer that question.
You're not.
No, I will not answer that
Why
question.
will you not answer that question?
Because I want to make sure that what I say is accurate, and I'm not trying to get
No.
anybody else
I'm
into
asking you,
any-
how did you get this
I'm
information?
not telling the court. What I'm saying is based upon information.
Okay, well, listen, if you don't tell me how you got this information, then you and I are going to have some problems.
We can have this. I have problems right now. and
Okay,
I'd like to
I know.
continue.
Look, I don't want to know about your problems. Okay, at this point in time, all I'm asking you at this point in time is, how did you come upon this information? Look, if the case gets reviewed, the record's going to be available for our appellate court and for whatever reason. But it's disturbing that somehow you have surreptitiously gotten information in regards to the
Surreptitiously implies that he's done something illegal. All he did was listen to what somebody told him about the illegalities that were happening behind closed doors.
court's private ex parte conversation with a party. I mean,
A party,
yes.
a witness who was sworn in Friday. The court's telling, this is what I was told. If this is not true, not true. This court
Mr. Steele,
handed
ask
Mr.
me,
Copeland.
tell me how you
perjury.
got the information.
Listen, whatever you want to do.
Tell me how you got the information, then we can go ahead and go forward.
I'm not going to say that. What I'm going to say is this. I was told, and I hope this concerns the court.
It concerns me that you have proprietary information.
Why is it
or
proprietary?
information that you should.
Proprietary information? Like he owns it or something? I mean, they had a court reporter back there. This is part of the record. It's not proprietary information. It's information the defense is entitled to, but it's not proprietary information. And did you notice how the judge would not let Brian even finish articulating the basis of his, that he was about to object, to the improper ex parte? And the judge started talking over him, wouldn't let him finish making his, I guess, objection to it. And he immediately started in on, tell me how you got it. Tell me how you got it. Where'd you get the information? Where'd you get the information? It's like the man is obsessed.
Not be having that was ex parte.
Why?
With a party.
Why?
State of Georgia.
How about the witness? How about Mr. Copeland, who supposedly announced he's not testifying and he'll sit for 2 years, and then supposedly this honorable court,
okay.
Or excuse me, let me rephrase that. This court supposedly said, I can hold you until the end of this trial. Ms. Hilton supposedly said, actually, all of the defendants and then all 26 people are disposed of. If that's true, what this is coercion, witness intimidation, ex parte communications that we have a constitutional right to be present for. So I understand that you're upset towards me, but I don't know what I did.
Mr. Steele, I
I'm doing
still
what
want to
everybody
know,
should
how
do.
did you come upon this information? Who told you?
What I want to know is, why wasn't I there?
And that's the only question that matters. Why was Brian Steele and the other defense attorney, why weren't they there? The judge needs to answer that damn question first, because that's the one that counts. It doesn't matter how the information got out, because this should never have happened. And it really, really burns me up to see this judge just blow right past the issue of what he did to cause this.
Why,
Sir, I'm going to hold you in contempt if you don't tell me who
I'm not-
tell me who this information
don't
was
want to
come
be held in
from.
contempt.
Well,
I'm not
then-
answering that question. That's attorney-client privilege information. I am not answering.
Attorney-client privilege, unless you were in my chambers, that's the only way you can figure out.
I am
I
telling
tell you
you-
what, I'm going to give you 5 minutes. If you don't tell me
You
who
don't have to. I'm
if
gonna
you don't tell me who it is, I'm going to put you.
Well, let me-
I'm going to put you in contempt
I
because
understand.
that is not attorney-client privilege.
Attorney work product privilege. I am not.
How did you get that information
go to
supposedly
answer-
from my chambers? Did somebody tell you?
I'm not. You should have told me.
You got 5 minutes.
Well, I don't need it. I want to continue.
You got 5 minutes?
This is what I was told. Mr. Copeland,
recess.
Mr. Copeland made statements that he admitted to killing Donovan Thomas and was. Don't take my notes. No.
I mean, was the deputy going to take his notes from him? I mean, good grief. Well, all I can say is, look, this was a week for, law students need to study this trial when it's all said and done. They need to study it before it's done as an example of what not to do. They need to show these clips at judicial conferences on how not to be a judge, how not to do your job if you are a judge. This is just ridiculous, terrible. I'm just like scratching my head. How in the world did we get here? It's just gone off the rails. For those of you who missed it, yesterday I did a live stream and I went through in detail the allegations about what happened back there in that closed door ex parte meeting. I used the motion that was filed to have for Judge Glanville to be recused, and the affidavit that's attached to that motion details, like in very almost verbatim, like level detail, exactly what happened allegedly. And they're saying that Glanville took the Georgia code book down on perjury and all this stuff, and they threatened him with holding him the witness in jail for the rest of this trial and until all of the other 12 people who are not part of this trial, until their cases get tried too. And it was almost like the judge and the prosecutor allegedly were on like the same team, browbeating this witness to make sure that he testifies the way the prosecutor wants him to testify. And if that's in fact what went on, people need to go to jail, because not only, that's a crime. That would be influencing a witness. It's a crime under Georgia law. Not only does this trial need to stop, the judge needs to be gone, but people who participate in that need to go to jail. It's just that serious. I can't begin to say and express how wrong that is. It's just my opinion. I welcome yours. But anyway, on a lighter note, it's almost quitting time, almost happy hour. Thanks to every one of you who have joined. We've got a new member, Lady Thacker. Thanks for joining the Inside the Law community. I appreciate each and every one of you. And again, happy Father's Day to all of you dads out there. And if you've lost your dad, like I have, enjoy your weekend too. Remember your dad. And with that, I will see you guys next time here inside the law. Thank you so much for being here, and we will catch you next time.